So, let's get to the real meat very quickly. Today is the first time we are doing a workshop kind of session, but usually we do talks like where we would record the session, and the talks are also available on the YouTube channel. So we have done till now like 22 sessions in the last 2 years. So you guys can also check out the previous videos that are all available on YouTube, and most of the very popular success stories of Pune are all available there, so you can check them out. So today's session, I would like Aboli to take over. I'll give a brief intro. I have worked with Aboli, in fact, so I can really vouch that she has been a great UX and UI designer. She comes from a deep experience of 12 years and plus. And she has worked with a lot of small companies and large companies. And in fact, this session came as a request from my side that I said that hey, you are doing such good work. Why not we spread it out to more people and reach out to more people? So, that's where this session days got started. And we are so glad to have you guys here. I think Aboli, would you like to take over?
Yeah, sure. So before I start, I also would like to thank Ayush because he's giving me this platform to reach out and to let people know that design thinking and how those workshops would work and how they will be useful. So thanks Ayush for that. So a design sprint is basically a process which gets teams together. So imagine a startup which has 6 people who are working on different parts of a product. So sprints, what they do is they get people together to brainstorm, to solve and test design problems in between 1 to 5 days. So it could be anywhere between like a half a day sprint to like a full-blown 5-day sprint, which is a scientific process of taking a problem, understanding everything behind that, and solving that problem. Hopefully, solving a problem by the end of the 5th day. Design sprints have been started by Google for startups, and then they have kind of tweaked that process a lot to make sure that it fits all kinds of startups and big companies. So think of it as a session where teams will come together to solve problems. Of course, sprints can be like this, physical, or they can also be remote for people who cannot be at a certain place for a sprint. So the process is really that you take a specific challenge that your organization, your product, or anything else is facing, and then you try to solve it using design, prototyping, and then testing your ideas with your customers. So, any doubts about what prototyping is? No doubts, or you don't know what prototyping is? Sorry?
Prototyping is basically making a model or MVP.
Sure. So, prototyping is getting like a picture view of what your end product, you're envisioning your end product to be. So, that's what we will be doing in a typical design sprint. So, sprints are really useful in every phase of a product. So now we know that some people already have a product. Some people want to redesign their product. Some people might start from scratch. So there are 3 stages. One is where you're starting developing a product from scratch. Second one is where you're adding features to your existing product. And the third one is where you would be redesigning your product. So such kind of workshops and sessions are important in all these phases. So these are the sprint steps that Google Ventures has, they've put this together, and then it really works for all the startups that they work with. So the typical steps in these are understand, and we'll get into these steps one by one, but it's a 6-step process where you start from understanding and then you reach a point where you're validating your assumptions and your prototypes. So the first step is understand, where you dig into the design problem. So think of this as, imagine a doctor. Okay, the analogy of a doctor. A patient comes to a doctor and he says, "Mujhe ye hua hai," you try to help me out. What you would first do is understand that person, and not asking him, but also asking him, looking at his reports. What is the data? Looking at his medical history. So there are a lot of things that you need to understand in the understand phase about a certain design problem. So, for example, if you're building a product, you need to know so many more things than just building your product. It's going to be much more than that. Define is where you define. Patient ko hua kya hai, You really define that what the problem is and then what you're going to do to solve that problem. That's the define phase. This diverge phase, I always say, is the most, fun part, because that's where you come up with a lot of brainstorming ideas. You know what is the problem here and you've defined it really well. In the diverge phase, what you're going to do is, you're going to come up with multiple solutions for your problem, meaning a lot of brainstorming and sketching and things like that. So that's diverge right here. Decide is where now you have a lot of ideas on table. Once you've sketched a lot, you have a lot of ideas on table. On decide, what you do is you try to use some techniques using which you will try to decide on what you really want to design and build at it. And prototype is, okay, now we've decided we are building these features and functionalities, let's prototype. Let's get into a sketch. Any questions at this point?
So this define is still not very clear. Define the key, strategy and focus. Understand is pretty much what is defined. Could you give some example?
Yeah. So, and you'll get to know more about that when we actually get in the exercise. But like I said, here we know what the patient is facing. Here we kind of decide what kind of treatment the patient is going to need, and we'll define, he has a throat infection, and this is what I'm going to do. So this is basically consolidating what you've understood and just, making it into concise information that you will work on in the next phases. It's quite hazy, like you said, it's quite hazy at this point of time, but when we get into the actual workshop, I think it will be clearer. Anybody else? Any questions?
You have mentioned in the prototype build something quick and dirty that can be shown to users. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So for example, you decide that you want to build a GPS kind of a thing. But then it will take you a lot of time and money to actually go ahead and build a GPS, right? The building it meaning developing it, designing it. So at this stage, what you do is that you just prototype. You just make quick and dirty. Prototype is something that will not require a lot of time, but it will get all your ideas into a working prototype or a wireframe, which you can then go back to your users and show them. Does this make sense to you? Will you use it? Do you like it? That kind of feedback. Makes sense? So it will just be a prototype which is not really coded. It's just something that you built using very little time at this point. Maybe just a visual design or just a design of something that you can show to your users and get feedback right there. So maybe the users will say, I can't find the directions button in the GPS for that map. And that is where you get feedback from them. You change the prototype, you show it to them again, and then you build the actual one.
Example would be a concept car. Companies do that. They make a concept car and showcase. This is how it works. It does not have everything, but it is basically the whole concept of how it works.
Yeah, and some of those prototypes, like a GPS, can also be a prototype where if you want voice commands, someone will actually talk instead of coding those voice commands, so that you get a real feel of what the product is even before building it. Because building often is very expensive because a lot of hours, a lot of effort goes into that. So that's about the prototype, and you will be creating prototypes hopefully in this session in time.
Is there a difference between prototype and wireframe, or these are the words used interchangeably?
Yeah, and that's one question which many of us do have. What happens is that I tend to believe that prototypes are more functionality driven, meaning that if I click on some button, something will open up. Only till that point of time. Otherwise, wireframes and prototypes are very much the same, except that prototypes can sometimes be even designed, meaning that like a pretty perfect design, which is not coded, but it's still working. Click something and something will open up, but only till that extent. So wireframes tend to be more basic, and prototypes are slightly better version.
Could it be wireframe is a subset of prototype, where prototype on a very elaborative term could have a tangible look and feel or something like that. So might be a mobile whenever they wanted to build a what was it?
GPS?
No.
Anything else?
No. The early stage of PDAs. So they made it out of a wooden block and then asked people, would you like that? So prototyping typically is probably, my understanding is beyond the wireframe. Can be more of other collaborative.
Yeah, that's a very
like a hardware won't be called a wireframe. It would be called a prototype.
Yes.
Right. So in the product development world, I think prototype would be more. It could be physical, but wireframe can never be like a physical thing that you can. Yeah, that's a very valid point. But in a lot of software only projects, people tend to interchange these things. So yes, very good point. So I think we'll. Okay, so So what happens is that many startups do not have the resources to go for a 5-day sprint. Imagine everybody in your office is just behind design for 5 days. Imagine 8 people, 8 hours, 5 days. People often do not have that kind of time or that kind of resources and money to do that. So typically it's also a good idea to have your team get together only in these 3 phases. So what a product owner or someone who owns that effort can do is do the research or the understand part before he gets the team together, and then do these 2 things after the team meeting. So then what typically happens is, this is just a step where the team can come together. So imagine that if this is
Are you going to share this or we have to take it home?
We can share.
Yeah. And anyway, this is all there on Google website, because this is their methodology. So so it's often I've often found it helpful that you just get your team together for like 1 day or half a day, and you do this, and then this and this happens before and afterwards, so that there is less utilization of resources and of that sort. So like I said, do the understand and define before, and do the prototype and validate later.
So do you mean to say that the initial step and the final step are more of the UX person's work, and the middle one is where really the brainstorming or more people are part?
Right, and that can be done. Can you go one slide back? So see, this is entirely the UX person, but from here many things are feeding into that, and then this is where the UX person is waiting. It is really good if people can be here all the time, because imagine that someone is from the support team and they know what problems their product is facing. What are people calling my support team for? I can't find something. I need help with something. So imagine that a UX designer can never come up with, can never know what problems the users are facing unless that person speaks with marketing or that person speaks with support team and others. So ideally, everybody should be everywhere, but so what the UX person can do here and here is really talk with everybody and gather, instead of getting them together at the same time. So everybody needs to be here, but UX person can do this and this by getting together with the team members. Here everybody comes together. This is the UX designer's work mostly, because they are good at it, and here it will be good if the people in the company see what users are talking about their prototype. So I'll come to the validate step.
So, would you say that to the understand process, you are basically doing interviews? That fits, like you are collecting information in the natural language. People will speak to you in English or whatever, in the natural language. The defined phase, you would create the UX guy would create a ubiquitous language, so that he can explain what these people are saying in different terms. Something that the UX guy and that something that will strike with both of them. So the defined phase would be a ubiquitous language which is understood by both the UX guy, the developers, as well as the stakeholders.
Right. So, I think you rightly say that is our define is where what you are saying is that you'll gather everything and then you'll analyze it and present it in a way that you have defined the actual problem, right? So, as a UX person, you'll gather, and it can be more than interviews actually. So there could be surveys. You could do a lot of methodologies.
Yeah, so you're just gathering data.
Gather all the data, analyze it, and like you said, make it in a format that everybody understands. Like you do this slide. So just gather it everywhere and make it in a format that everybody can digest. That's right. So like I said. So once you've decided you want to go for a workshop, this is what will typically happen. You will gather all those people in your team so if you have a startup who has marketing, I don't want to call marketing but imagine that there are a lot of different people and you're gathering them together for a workshop. Okay. So you'll have to have inside the design sprint, when you're actually ideating, you will need to get all types of people in the company. Like I said, support will have different perspectives. Marketing will have something different. Design will have something different. So make sure that you gather at least 5 to 8 people for that workshop kind of a setting. And you bring business, marketing, technology, and management and design. Business, because they know what their product needs to do, right? What are they looking for? What are the business goals? Marketing will know, hey, people are responding to such kind of marketing material, so let's do this. designer will say, oh, I need to use these principles to design something. So it's a team participation, and like a multidisciplinary team participation is very important. And of course, Mr. Shifu, he needs to be there and it needs to be a UX designer who leads the workshop, because they know that they have empathy for people. They are researchers. They know what people want. They know methodologies that they can use in a typical workshop, because there are many methods that you can use in design sprints and workshops that most UX people should or will do. So now, just hang on. Yeah. So now we know what a design sprint process is. Then we have decided that we want to go for a design sprint. This is where you've gathered your team and you've gathered someone who's going to be leading that team in that workshop. So let's see. The first step was understand, right? Those 6 steps. Can you guys recall what those 6 steps are?
Yes. Understand, define, diverge, decide, prototype, validate.
Validate. Perfect. So everybody is blaming me on a Sunday morning. Saturday morning. Everybody's still attentive. Great. So in the understand phase, there are 3 things, and don't go next, please. I want people to respond to this. What would be the 3 things that you need to understand? One is here, so please don't. One is obviously the user, because that's what you need to understand you're designing for. What else? What would you need to understand?
User business problem expectation.
Yeah, user expectation.
Problem areas.
Problem areas, yes. So the problem, the users.
Process understanding.
What kind of process?
For which we are developing the product.
So like the domain?
Yes, operations kind of thing.
Okay.
Process.
Okay, business. What else?
Liking.
User liking. Okay, so that will put all user related thing in one bucket, saying that user knowledge. Anybody else?
Competitors,
The
market.
market. So competitors.
Competition.
Perfect. Anything else? So you are developing a product. There are 3 big buckets that you want to put all your understand, or 4 buckets. So there's problem, understand the problem, understand the users. What else? Understand the competitors.
Consumer behavior will put under the user.
Under the user, consumer behavior. I want someone at the back, please. Do you want me to repeat the question? Yes.
What are they doing to solve that problem?
Okay, like a method that or a process that they use. Is that what it is?
Existing solutions or what?
Yes, so that means competitors, right? Let's put that in what the competitors are doing, or what the existing solution. There's somebody from the back, please. I can repeat the question. What are the things you would need to know before building a new product? So one is you need to know about the users, another is you need to know about the competition, you need to know the problem. What else? The end-to-end process. Okay, so how we are going to go about developing this? Yes.
The environment.
Environment, can you?
This is that under what conditions, where is the person going to use this?
Okay, so usage, where is the person using it, on what kind of devices? Yes, that again I would put under the users, very broadly speaking. You can go next now, and I think most of these answers are right. I'm just trying to bucket them into 3 or 4 different things. Second is, yes, clearly defined goals. Like most of us say, what kind of resources are we going to need? What does my business want out of it, right? Because finally, if it's not helping the business and if it's just saying delighting the users, that's not enough. And if you're building something, so for example, don't go next please. So if you're building something, what would most technology people think about? I want to build an app, an e-commerce app. So what is the thing that developers will ask first? What they should think about, Platform. Yeah. So the possibility, you can do this. So technical possibilities and constraints. So for example, you decide, I don't have the budget or I don't have the technical capability of building native apps for that. So there's a technical constraint before you would do anything. So these are the 3 main buckets. Everything that we said right now fall into one of these 3, would fall under these 3 buckets. So when you're knowing your user, now imagine that we are bringing our team together in a workshop where we are solving a problem. What we would do is that we will try to have a good understanding of our users. Not everybody. And I've seen many people work, acha chalo ye project karna hai, isko karte hai, right? What happens there is that they miss on the bigger picture, the bigger vision. Why are we doing this and for who? So everybody needs to be on the same page. Everybody needs to know the users. And everybody needs to know the goals. Why are we building an e-commerce website? Who are we serving? What is the business getting? What are the users getting? What are the technical constraints? So make sure that before the workshop, if you're solving a problem for anything like this, that you have clearly defined goals and everybody's on the same page. And of course, technical possibilities and constraints. What happens is that if it's a development-centric company, everybody does understand that. But imagine a designer who has nothing to do with code. They need to know what are these constraints that they need to, or what are the possibilities also. That if you're doing something native, I need to know what native would support. Alright, next. Okay, so I think you said that whatever we know from the understand phase, we would distill that into something which is more digestible to everyone. Remember that ubiquitous language you were talking about. So personas is one of them. Anybody heard of personas or used them? Okay. Can anybody tell me in one? I think Neeraj can go in one sentence what persona means to you.
Is a typical user. It's an average of what all users the product organization has interviewed or got to understand.
Right.
A typical user is typical pain points, is typical what he is looking for from the product.
Right. Yeah, I think that sums it up. Anybody else has anything to add to this?
The most common characteristics or features
Of your typical user. Okay. Yeah.
Basically, you are looking at a pattern. What is the usage pattern or
Correct.
some
What
pattern
is the
in-
pattern of people? So it's often a fictitious person that you come up with based on what you've researched about the users. So if you're, like you said, user interviews, right? If you're taking interviews of your users, you would know that your user, there are more males than females. So currently using my product. So what can I do to make sure that there's a good mix of features for both of them? Or if you know that most of them are older people, there will be some other things that you'll do for them, right? Instead of just designing for a one-size-fits-all. So once you know from research, and there are a lot of research methodologies that you can use to understand about your users, a UX designer would put together something that is called a persona. Like you rightly say that it will be a typical user that you're solving your problem for. So even when you go into a design thinking like a sprint or a workshop, what you would require is this, because you're designing for this kind of a person. Any questions? Just stop me if it's too fast. I tend to just do it really fast. Okay, so you need to have a persona, and personas distill everything that you've learned about the users. And then if you're getting into a workshop, like you're actually going to put pen to paper and you're going to design something for your problem, you need to know what are your constraints. You also need to know what are the design guidelines. Since, in workshop setting, what happens is you're actually going to go into sketching and designing something. And most people, imagine if you're getting support team and highly technical people into it, they might not have a very, any inputs on what good design is. May or may not happen. So you need to know that there are some guidelines that you can give them saying, keep these things in mind when you are actually sketching something. So for example, it could be, for now, design anything. Make it device agnostic. Just design a feature or a solution. Don't think about devices. Then make sure that the experience between two things is seamless. Imagine that the e-commerce example we were talking about, imagine that there's a store. People are buying from the store and then they're doing a follow-up action on their app. So ensure that experience is seamless. So we need to know who the users are, what do we know about, what are the constraints we must work in, and what are the design guidelines for for that workshop. Questions about these two? Okay.
Design guidelines.
Sorry.
Design guidelines. Can you
Yeah. So design, see, why do we need design guidelines? Imagine, and strictly in a design sprint scenario, okay, where people are going to come together and design something based on a problem. So users ko hai pata hai, unka problem kya hai pata hai. Now we are all coming together and designing something. And that's what you all are going to do at the end of the session. Imagine you are going to design something, but I have no idea. I'm just designing away, I'm saying that one person should appear and he should show me the way, like in a GPS. That's not possible, right? So there are going to be some constraints and guidelines you'll need to know when you're designing something. Like if you're making a sketch of an interface, you'll need to have some guidelines. So for example, if there is Let me think. So if there's a website, say for Mind Browser, okay, what happens is if you're creating an app for Mind Browser, you'll need to think about what are the design guidelines that Mind Browser parent site has, right? So those things you'll have to keep in mind, and it mostly goes in design and branding kind of a thing. But those things we need to remember when we get into a sprint.
Excuse me. I just want to go more on persona because I want to know how do you validate a persona that you are on the right side.
Yes, so maybe we can, I'm not planning to go deeper into that, but maybe I can just tell you right now is that there are many research methodologies, UX research methodologies, which help you in validating a persona. So you actually put together a persona and then you go back to users, you ask them specific questions and see, you validate what you put together. Maybe we can discuss that at length later. Yes?
Do guidelines change with personas and used with every? Does that make sense?
Yes, can you please say it again?
Do guidelines change along with personas and your product, or is there a set of guidelines always?
See, these guidelines will have very little to do with the personas, specifically design guidelines. It will have to do more about your product really, What are you designing? So if you're just thinking that I just want a mobile app and I don't want a website at this point of time, then that's going to affect this. So it really depends upon what you're building as against who you're building it for. And this really is quite open. It depends upon what you want from the design sprint. But
each product is different.
Yes.
So who makes design guidelines?
UX person. Like a UX person who knows about what the current design is and what you want to do ahead. Typically.
I would like to add, just like technical guidelines would come from a technical person, the design guidelines would come from a design.
You mentioned there are certain research methodologies for defining personas. Could you just name few?
Yeah, so there's one slide where it lists all methodologies, and maybe we can go through that slide and you can ask me specific questions. That would be okay, right? But then one major thing would be interviewing your users, your target users, if you know them. So 10 to 15 interviews per persona. If there are 2 personas for your website, like for an e-commerce website, it would be buyers and sellers. So maybe interview 10 buyers and interview 10 sellers that would come to your website. So typically interviewing is like a 1-hour interview with your user. You ask them specific questions and get specific inputs. There could be surveys. There are a lot of techniques. We'll get into that.
How much is the risk of being biased because of your methodology? I mean, you come up with a persona, but you're still biased.
Biased.
In the sense, you kept on choosing the same kind of people by mistake. And the
so sampling of who you want to interview, right? Yeah, there's always that caveat, that you need to be secular, not secular, democratic about what you're doing. But yes, there's a thing about bias, and that's where the US person would come.
So can there be more than one persona? For let's say the example of e-commerce website, we are taking example of buyers. So for buyers, can there be more than one person?
Yes. And that happens when you do a lot of market research. So there is user research, of course there's user research, but there's market research also. So before you plan to build something, you would typically go around your market and see what's working for your competitors. I think someone said competitors. What is that problem that you want to solve? Is there a real problem? Can my product solve it? So in that, when you're doing all kind of research, you will come to know that certain patterns of users are going to evolve. And that is a very good question, Krish, because when we get into our activity, there are 2 different personas for the single type of user.
In personas are decided by UX person or more at the product solution team or?
Yeah, so it's depends upon how much time your company has to do that. The ideal blue sky way of doing it is get everyone together and have a persona workshop. And what happens is that in that workshop, you come up with, so again, if you go back to the composition of your team, everybody will know something about your end users. You come there, you do certain exercises and come up with what you know about your users, that you can form a persona there. So it can be a group effort, or then a UX person can create a persona and send it to everyone saying, hey, marketing person, do you think this is how our ideal or current buyer is? Does it make sense?
Yes. And what is it?
I slightly would like to have a different opinion. Probably, I think personas would be defined by the people who are researching on a particular domain. Because, probably, if you talk about it is a outsourced work, probably the product owners or the founders would have a better understanding of the personas because they would be doing a core study on that thing. And if it is in-house, then to the guy who initially starts with the idea and the team who put in that effort to understand the market and the competition and the solutions. So they will be better understanding rather than the UX. UX would be knowing more about it if he has dealt with those domains.
Correct. See, so UX, when we say UX, it's a blanket term of UX researchers, UX designers, and interaction designers. So in an ideal world, there are 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 types of UX designers. So if you are strictly talking about UX researchers, they are in a very good position to talk about personas. But imagine in a smaller company where there's only one designer, then that person he cannot really know everything about your ideal user or persona.
Correct.
So I think you're really right, but it depends upon how big that company is. If it's like a really small company, then UX karo. Agar badi company hai, so you have more resources to pull that kind of information together about your person.
In a practical case, in a practical scenario, if the company is fairly large, it's a medium, not just a startup, does this workshop actually happen where they try to understand the personas and what's the outcome of that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you know what, this kind of workshop is really useful for all kind of organizations. So I'll talk from my experience of working with a product company. When I was in the US, and that's where everything started for me for design sprints. They were digital books. They used to do digital books. They used to digitalize everything that's printed for higher education and then digitize it. So they were moving from a print-centric organization to a very, very digital organization. And these kind of sprints really helped all of them because those product managers were really print-centric, They had no idea of how something can be interactive in a digital world. So they used to do, and design sprints were a mandate in that organization. They used to do it over and over again. Like I said, there are three phases when you would use design sprints. So even when adding features to a product, they used to do that. Add a small new feature to their product, let's get into a sprint. Let's understand and let's do everything over again. So they used to do that and that was really useful. Even in bigger, that was like a pretty big organization. And startups, it's really, really very, very important for startups. Imagine, especially for e-commerce companies, it's very critical. I think you would be able to answer. What is the most critical thing for you have own an e-commerce? What is the most critical thing for your e-commerce website? Critical.
In terms of business needs?
Yes, in terms of business. What is that one thing?
So it's actually, the customers translating into the design.
Conversions.
Right?
So conversions is extremely important for e-commerce companies. Imagine I have a beautiful looking product page, but nobody is really clicking on buy now. There are 2 buttons if anybody has observed, buy now or add to cart. Buy now is quicker. So even if you move that buy now button, people are going to do different things. So it's very important that we do design sprints for such smaller cases also. Because they seem small, button hi to move karna hai, but no, it really makes a difference if you get into a sprint and really figure out, A/B test and figure out where that button should go. Especially for e-commerce kind of a thing, and of course many other products as well.
That is important for any business.
Right, that's
for e-commerce.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that if it's like it's a really small thing, click a button as small as that. Should we have a sprint for that, or should we have a sprint?
There are some situations like e-commerce is vastly known by all of us. If we are designing any unique product, or if we are designing a product which users we are not accessible to that user. Okay. So in that situation, what we do, we can go with our assumption or
meaning that you don't know who the users are.
No, or I know who the users are, but I am not accessible to them physically
because they are located somewhere else.
Yes.
So there are many methods that you can use to actually validate what you've done. One could be reach out to those users through some kind of a recruiting agency. So there are user recruiting agencies. So then remember those steps which say diverge and decide. What that is, this will sum everything up. So when you actually have a paper and pen in your hand, and when you are creating some ideas for your ideas for your problem, what you're going to do is you're going to think in a divergent way. You're going to come up with multiple options that will solve your problem, and then through group critique, you're going to come to like a converge and come to convergent thinking, where you'll be selecting some of those ideas. Does this slide make sense?
Yes.
All right. Okay. So this is the fun part of the workshop, like I said. बहुत ज़्यादा sketch करो and then using everybody's knowledge and expertise, narrow down to something. So we'll be doing a little bit of this if time permits. Okay. So some of there are a lot of techniques through which we can diverge and think and brainstorm. So these are just some pictures of what happens in typical sprints. These are some of the sprints that I worked in. So you would typically do, like, remember you just did that, you wrote down something on paper and then you do that. This is another one which is card storming, where people will write down their thoughts on how to solve a problem, and then we would map it together and see if there are any themes which emerge to solve the problem. So this is a typical card storming or post-up or affinity mapping session that could happen in a typical workshop. These are just some methods and pictures I have. If I show them to you visually, maybe it will be easier to grasp everything. Then there are sketches which we might do in this session. Is that you know everything, now you're just going to go ahead and sketch some solutions which you think might work. This is like you asked prototype, right? This is like a very, very dirty prototype. Not a prototype, but a very dirty representation of what. Just put your pen on paper and sketch. So this is low fidelity wireframes or sketches. This is the decide part, where you have a lot of sketches now. As a team, you're going to vote for the best ideas using these kind of stickers, and then you actually count. See, this feature has these many votes, and then you decide and go ahead and build, at least prototype that feature further, or refine that feature further. Any questions on this? The previous one, yeah.
Yeah, the low fidelity wireframes, are there tools for that, or is that only on pen and paper?
Yeah, no, there are tools for that. So it can be as easy as a pen and paper. Otherwise, there are a lot of tools. There's Axure, you can do it in Visual. There are many tools that you can. Balsamic is like the quickest and dirtiest ever. You just drag and drop, boxes and arrows and icons on a screen and just create that kind.
I think one of the things that these tools provide is a collaborative low fidelity wireframing solution, for example. So people from different areas can just log in their computer and create.
Yeah, and they can collaborate on one wireframe also. But hopefully, if we are in a workshop physical setting, we might not need that. But if we are in the remote teams, we can always use that. We can have many hands. Yeah.
Can you explain this one
once? This one. So think about this in a way that you have gathered your team. Okay. Now for example, your problem is that on a GPS device that you are developing, your users are not able to find or easily go for finding directions of a certain place. So that is your problem. Everybody sits together and draws something. Okay? I think that doing this will solve this problem. You will draw something, some sketch of your device. Now what happens is, after that activity, you will have 20 sketches with 20 different alternatives to solve a single problem. What is going to happen in that is, like, your solution might be great, but the organization doesn't have money to do that right now. If someone else's is also good, but that requires less money, effort, resources, or whatever. That is more practical. So what people will do is take circular stickers and then look at all the sketches and say, this sketch fulfills all my requirements, so I vote for this. I put one dot sticker here. Everybody from the team will come and think from their perspective. The business will say, I can provide you money for this. I stick one here. UX designer will say, oh, this really looks, useful, usable. I'll stick one on this. So what happens is that everybody's perspective will come here and you come up with, you can decide what to go ahead with. Is that answer?
Means different colors for different.
It is basically a voting.
Voting.
It can be voting of in any field.
Yeah.
It can just be handled.
Yeah, it's usually voting. And if there is someone who is a decision maker, sometimes they get golden stickers. Right. So that has more weight. They are like golden, really. Alright. that answered your question, right?
So once you do this, do you go, if somebody likes some features out of this and some features out of this, then do you go back to the drawing board again, or you pick up the best frames out of it?
Yeah, so what would happen? Okay, now that's a question for you. I hope you can answer. What is the step after decide? You remember? Okay, you remember.
Prototype.
Prototype. So that's exactly what we'll do. We'll take all this and we'll put it into a prototype. Like a better refined version of this.
Okay.
And then you go back to other people in your organization, you show it, and then you take it to users.
Right.
That's what you asked.
No, what I meant was, so somebody liked these ideas, one on the left, and then somebody liked the one on the right. But you find some features are really good in the left, and some features on the right are better.
Yeah.
So then you go back to the drawing board, or you pick up whatever is in the best design fit there is.
Yeah, and that's a very good question, because there's actually a method to do that in a workshop setting. Is that battle royale? Some team has done this, some team has done this.
Yeah.
Now what you're going to do is you're going to merge the best features and create one big prototype or sketch. And then that becomes a conversation starter again. Do you really think this feature is useful? So merging, yes. Merging happens if the workshop time permits you. You will do it then and there. Otherwise, you give it to the UX designer and they'll prototype and try to merge this thing and then start the conversation from there.
Right.
Yeah, it might happen that after merging both, it might happen that the finance person says, no, we don't have money for that.
The finance person needs to be in that workshop at that point.
Startup company, it might happen that.
Yeah.
Then again, voting will happen, and then.
No, then ideally what the UX designer is expected to do is that go back to the business finance meetup and say, hey, what is possible and what is not possible at this time. Because you know what happens, all this is here now, and maybe I just pick this up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to document everything that we did, and not only this. So then we go back to that document and say, okay, this was the first best option, this is the second best, is this possible? So there's going to be to and fro in that, we cannot really decide in that workshop. But yeah, that happens, that has actually happened a lot many times. So that's that question. Okay, next, should we go next?
I think we'll also be done in short time.
Yeah. So that is the golden sticker I was talking about, which decision makers are going to use next. So this is a prototype for people who have questions about prototype. It can look many different, it will have many different phases. But this is, see now imagine if you can take this to your users, like you were asking, what is quick and dirty? This is quicker than putting together something in Photoshop or Sketch for that matter. If I show this to someone I think might use my product, they'll understand it, right? I hope they will understand it because I've used all the UX process and methods for that. But this is something which is very, very quick and dirty, and you can show people and make sure that they understand something or don't understand something. And that's the point where you can work on it again if people can't figure out something. Let's go next. And then validating. Validating is difficult, like Hemant said. Like Hemant said, validating or testing, if you don't have access to your end users, it's going to be difficult. But this is a very critical step, at least for each and every product really. But what you can do is, you need to validate in some way or the other. Imagine that you don't have access to your users. What validating means is, this is my design, can you understand it? Is the basic premise of validating. Can you use it? Do you like it? What is your attitude towards it and what is your behavior towards it? Behavior is meaning, can you find everything, can you use it? Attitude is, do you like it? What are your thoughts about this design? So what happens is, either you can recruit like an agency, or there are many online websites through which you can recruit users. You can show your prototype online, they will try using it and they will give you the results. So many ways to validate. The best is user testing, where you actually call users, you sit next to them or behind a wall, like a glass wall, and you observe what they're doing with it. So validating is basically a lot of user testing, hallway testing and focus groups. What hallway testing means is that you just, so if you design something for Starbucks, for that matter, you just sit at Starbucks and see people coming and, "Arey, idhar aao, ye test karke dikhao," That is hallway testing, just being there at that point of, and just test what you've done. Focus group is where you get a lot of users together in one group and ask them their thoughts about your design. So validating is important, and that's the last step of a workshop. So all the steps at least are clear, right? I don't remember what's next. Okay, so all the steps have been explained. If you have any questions at this point of time, any questions on the steps or any questions at all?
Can there be a gap between like how you define the problem and how you gather the information? Like certain customers may not be that articulate in putting forth their experience.
Yeah.
So you take certain assumptions and you do all the exercise, but then you see that this was not what the customer was saying.
Yeah.
So
And that does happen. And you know what? It's always said that if you ask people what they want, they'll say, I want a faster horse. But what they actually want is a car, right? Why would anybody want a faster? So you need to understand the problem that you're solving as against what they are saying they want. You want to understand that the problem is really reaching from one place to the other in a very fast kind of a way. So thinking that they want a car is our, what do you say, domain.
So
we just
this assumption that they want a car, can that be validated at this stage rather than at the 6th?
Yeah, and you know that happens in focus groups. Can you go one slide back, please? So sometimes, you know, focus groups is a methodology where you actually show them something, you know, and get their attitudinal feedback on something. Okay, you wanted a faster horse, but this is something that we have in mind. What are your thoughts? But we have a car in our mind. It is going to function like this, and like this. What are your thoughts? So that is a good time to actually validate what you're trying to, what you're going to build or propose.
So validation can actually happen through trial periods also.
Throughout. So only for this, you know, sprint, since we need to go step by step in 1 to 5 days, that's why it's at the end. Otherwise, it can be anywhere. Okay.
After validate, if you found that okay, 3 things got missed, so it's like a feedback.
Yeah. This is a loop. Yeah. It will go back to.
It's a never-ending loop, or it ends.
I mean, if it's a product company, it's kind of a never-ending loop because you have to keep on doing it. Depends upon how much you are willing to do, but it's a loop, yes. So depending upon how big a blunder we have done, depending upon that you decide whether this is where you want to start it again or whether we can just go back here and do something. Okay, so now we have done the theory, now we'll do some exercises.
Yes.
Exercises meaning everybody is saying, giving me exercise. Can you go one slide next? I don't know. Okay, so let's just see what will happen after the 6 steps are over. So imagine you have a lot of ideas and you have documented a lot of things. What you're going to do is you're going to create a report of what was discussed and what was the outcome. Because after 5 days, after a week, nobody is going to remember. Everybody had fun in the workshop, but they are not going to remember anything that we did. Especially the finance example you said. Finance ka to banda tha hi nahi, so we know what to do. So create a report so that person can always come there and report or at least document everything. Not a lot of documentation, but at least some. So create a report. Okay. Next. And follow through. Follow through is something that a UX person can do. Hold everybody and say, hey, this is what we have decided, this is the prototype. And you're going to finance this, you're going to design. Even, you know, between the stages of prototyping, designing and developing, there are 3 people involved. That thing is going to, the third person is, you remember the game where we whisper something in somebody's ear and how it changes till the last person sees it. I think it's called telephone something. Chinese whisper, there you go. So that kind of happens because everybody's in the sprint, everybody is excited, and then you kind of keep missing all those things till the last step comes. So UX designer or somebody who is responsible should make sure that they are following through till the last step, till something is built, shipped, tested or whatever. So that's about it. Yeah, and featureitis. Featureitis is the name of something where I have like 100 great ideas that I want in my product, and this is what happens. You can't use even one of that because there are just so many options that you're lost, just spoiled for choice, and then you don't do anything. So that's called, I think you need to take once. And then again MVP. So I have ideas for this right now. I don't have the money. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do a smaller cupcake. I'm going to test it with everyone. I'll see if it's valuable for everyone. Then I'm going to build the next thing, and then I'm going to build. And extremely consumable even at this stage. It's not just Java, it's not just something that you can't do or something that you can't use. So make sure that your MVP is usable at all phases. This especially happens after a design sprint because everybody is in love with what they've sketched. Everybody wants to, use all their lovely sketches into the product, but then no. Questions?
So how do you deal with a client who is adamant that I want all these features?
Clients put on this, right? Okay, tell them the budget.
Budget and time also.
Time and budget. Then they'll say, oh, I think I need one of these first. I mean, that's just a way of.
Yeah, sometimes it becomes a problem, right? It hasn't been validated in the real market, and then they want everything. They are not going to go live before everything is in place. So that becomes an option. They are willing to spend time and then money. It's in my benefit, no doubt. But honestly, it becomes too much of rework on a same idea, and then finally when it gets into the market for validation. So some of these ideas, like they're not that like least used or whatever we have implemented is also like goes through a 180-degree change. So I know it's nothing to do with, but as a UX consultant, so how do you deal with such problems?
Yeah, advocating for a cause, meaning that this is what should be done. If your client wants this, even marketing is going to be happy. Advertise karne ke liye itne sare features. So there are people who are going to vouch for this, and there are people who are. So if you see that in a full-blown application, the rule of 80-20, it always works. And only 20% of those features are highly used, and they give you the most return. And those 80% are just something that marketing would use, or really edge cases. Most people won't use. What you can do is if you're doing a validate stage, and then again that's biased because users will say yes, do you want this? Yes, I want this. Even if you ask users, do you want 100 things? Yes, I want it. So then this is something where the UX person will have to put their foot down based on their experience, saying this might or might not be. Whether you want to develop it is up to you. Meaning the business has to take that call. We can make sure that we advocate and say, nee, this is highly unusable. But somewhere we'll have to let the ball roll into their court and say, you see what.
So,
maybe.
So a related question.
Yeah.
Sorry, but a related question. Now, the process that you've gone through, okay, is going to result in that thing, right? At the top.
It could.
Exactly. Now, is there a methodology or some way in which you can arrive at an MVP? And again, or does it mean that, maybe the ways that you go through another design sprint, proposing a MVP and getting all the stakeholders to sign up saying that, okay, this is, a minimum thing that we are willing to.
Yeah. And that's very correct because if you see in the decide phase, we have voted for something, right? So that's like a big funnel. We had like 200 ideas, but because of the voting, we are coming down to 20, say for example.
But it could still be that.
Yeah, it could still
so
be
in the
that.
sense that you still have to say that, okay, we are going to start with this. We're going to start with the cupcake. So how do you arrive at that, that this is, this is the cupcake and, have everybody, kind of onboarding on that.
So there's this book called Lean UX for Startups, and I don't really know the name, but the fundamental, the principle there is that make a hypothesis, validate it, and then build it. So it's always about going back to users and seeing if they are buying, if they are subscribing, if it's useful. So here there's the lines are a little blurred. You won't really know. There are two people who can do this. The UX designer should say, we can't do this based on experience and based on studies. Then the users will say or use it over a period of time, and then we'll have this.
Or the finance guy.
Yeah, finance guy is like the hero in that case because he's going to say, hey, stop, don't do this. Let's prioritize the top 3 and go with that.
Usually what I have found like doing myself is that create a priority list, like what are the must have, should have, could have. So these are the 20 features. Now can you just bucket them into must?
In this specific scenario, there could be a specific priority set in it. What could be done by the whole team is that you should prioritize saying that these are the features which are really required. Otherwise the product will not exist because initially if you don't have the why for the product then it is wrong as she suggested. Because if you have the why that why I am doing this, then you can say these two things are mandatory. So you have to do that. So that could be in the MVP.
So there is a very interesting exercise, and that's out of the scope of this. But what a team can do is have kind of a chart where these are features 1, feature 2, feature 3, and these are, and then you say you have $100 to develop this product. Now everybody, it's like a matrix. Everybody says that since this is the most important feature, I can give $20. I can. This is exactly same what I think Ayush is saying, but this is just a workshop setting kind of a thing. And then you say till you arrive at feature 5, you're like, oh, I don't have anything exhausted. So that's
this
just
is
a
even
fun way
better.
of,
Yeah,
it's just a fun way of doing the same thing.
Once people see the numbers, they are probably
Correct. Then they focus on the actual finances of it. Here it's just idea, creativity, but this is where you land on the ground of reality. So many methods to do that.
What does MVP stand for?
Minimum viable product. So the minimum that you can build that people will use and then get value from. Solve one problem for one defined group of people. On next. Let's do it now. Is everybody pumped up about doing something now based on what we've learned? Yes. People at the back, hello. Are you excited to actually do something? Okay, great. So now remember that exercise that we did at the beginning. As founders, we just wrote down what we think is great for an e-commerce website. Now let's think through the process of the entire design sprint. I have some research handouts to give you. Imagine that you've done some research based on the understand phase. I'm going to give out that research to each of those groups, and you're going to come up with more ideas, which I'll of course explain.